Hey, what's up, guys? Next day, GX270 head. Just took it off the mill, cut the radius bowls after welding it up. I don't know if you guys have seen it welded up yet, but welded it up. Took it down on my table bench sander. Surfaced the top surface of the head, mating surface with the block. After, just to clean up the weld. After that, it still goes out and gets milled. If I'm doing the build, I send it out to get milled. After that, I put it on my mill and do the radius bowls, cut those out nice, and then do the spark plug relief. So GX270 head is taking shape. Next step for this head will be install the bigger seat for the intake valve. I think that's kind of where we were at last step. Pretty big seat. Throw that in. 36 millimeter intake valve, going from a 3228 to a 3628. And then once that's in, we'll do the porting and send it out to get milled. And then cut some multi-angles, do some flow testing, finish up the porting, and then do some polishing, and then the final flow testing. This head's also getting a welded on intake tube, so we still got to do that before we get it milled or cut the seat angles. Definitely don't want to be doing any welding after any milling, so, or any finished seat angles. So still got to put some guides in it too. This is for Dawn and TC in Ohio. I'm sure they're gonna love it for their sprint kart. So yeah, just another day in the life. If you guys have any projects or need anything, any GX270 work, these heads are actually some of my favorite heads. This is on my snowblower. It's got a 270 on it. It's basically like a GX390 head on a small block. You know, the bore has tons of meat around it. The head gasket surface area is thick. I mean, you know, in 460s, it's like a sliver. Look at all this head gasket surface area. You know, this is like a ½ inch over here. Over here is like, I mean, just insane amounts of area. So, I mean, these are just great heads. You know, a 270 built is just bulletproof. You know, you build the 270 right, and, you know, the bores are so thick. There's so much meat left in the blocks that, you know, they just stay true. And the heads are so thick. There's so much meat to them that the clamping power, they don't distort. You know, when you clamp on a small block head, especially if you milled a lot off of it, they can distort, and you'll end up blowing a head gasket. You'll think, oh, let me just put some more, let me tighten this down more and more and more. You know, that'll make it not blow the head gasket. But the more you're actually tightening it, the more it'll like cup the head in between the bolts, and you'll end up blowing out. You know, so you don't want to use too much head gasket, too much torque on the head bolts. You know, if you go from a head bolt to a head stud, you know, on the big blocks they recommend I think 25 foot-pounds. I go 32 on a stud, and on the small blocks I think it's 17 foot-pounds, and I go 22. So you don't want to put too much torque down on the heads. You don't want to put 40 pounds on a you know, head bolt on a big block. You know, you're just going to end up bowing the head. But these 270s are great. You know, they're just bulletproof. There's enough block there. You know, it's like if you take the same block and bore it out to a 460, you know, you're just left with less metal. This is like a big block, but it's only a 270, so there's just so much metal left in these blocks, these 270s. I'm kind of in love with them. But, yeah, GX270 sprint kart, Dawn in TC in Ohio. Really cool kart. I'm glad to be part of your project. This thing is going to rock. So until next time, guys, Paul from Paul's Karts. For any projects, call 781-492-7358. And until next time, have a good day.